Hello, and welcome to the dark room, the place where the shadows come to life and the things that go bump in the night are all too real. Today I'll be your guide through the twisted and terrifying stories that we have in store for you. From spine-chilling urban legends to bone-chilling ghost stories, we'll explore the darkest corners of the human psyche and leave you trembling in fear. So, turn off the lights, grab a blanket, and get ready to enter the dark room. The Cursed Legacy of Lurk, a tale of supernatural horror and bravery. The small town of Lurk had always been shrouded in mystery and danger. It was located in the middle of a dense forest, miles away from civilization, and the townspeople were notorious for their unfriendly nature. Most outsiders who stumbled upon Lurk would quickly turn back. But for those who dared to stay, they soon realized the true terror that lay hidden within the town's borders. Rumors circulated that Lurk was cursed by an ancient evil, and that those who entered the town were doomed to never leave. The townspeople themselves were said to be possessed by dark forces, and their eyes glowed with an eerie red light at night. Many claimed to have seen strange creatures lurking in the shadows, and the sound of screaming could often be heard echoing through the streets. Despite the rumors, a group of adventurous college students decided to explore the town, hoping to uncover the truth behind the rumors. They arrived in Lurk late at night, driving down the winding road that led to the town's entrance. As they entered the town, the students could feel an oppressive presence closing in around them. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and the only sound was the creaking of old buildings in the wind. The students soon realized that they were not alone in Lurk. Strange figures began to appear in the shadows, watching them from the corners of their eyes. As they explored the town, they discovered that the buildings were all abandoned, and the only signs of life were the occasional flicker of a candle or the sound of footsteps in the distance. As the night wore on, the students began to realize that they were being hunted. They heard the sound of something slithering through the shadows, and the eerie glow of red eyes watching them from the darkness. Soon, they found themselves running for their lives, pursued by the dark forces that lurked in the town. One by one, the students fell, their screams echoing through the deserted streets. Some were dragged into the shadows by unseen hands, while others were torn apart by the creatures that prowled the night. As the sun began to rise over Lurk, the few remaining survivors fled the town, never to return again. Years later, the legend of Lurk still persists, and those who venture too close to the town speak of the same strange, terrifying experiences. It seems that the curse of Lurk lives on, waiting for its next victims to stumble into its deadly embrace. The legend of Lurk had spread far and wide, and the town had become known as a place of unspeakable horror. Few dared to venture into its borders, but those who did never returned. However, one man was determined to uncover the truth about Lurk and put an end to the curse that had plagued the town for so long. His name was John, a renowned paranormal investigator who had spent his life studying the supernatural. He had heard of Lurk and the stories of its cursed inhabitants, and he knew that he had to see it for himself. So, he set out on a journey to the town, armed with his knowledge and expertise. As he arrived in Lurk, John could feel the dark energy that permeated the town. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and the only sound was the creaking of old buildings in the wind. He began his investigation, exploring the abandoned buildings and searching for any clues that could lead him to the source of the curse. However, he soon found that the town was not as abandoned as it seemed. He encountered the same strange figures that had haunted the college students all those years ago, and he could feel their malevolent gaze following him wherever he went. John knew that he was in danger, but he refused to back down. As he delved deeper into the town, John began to uncover the dark secrets that lurked within its borders. He discovered that Lurk was founded by a group of dark witches who had made a pact with a powerful demon. They had sacrificed innocent souls to appease their dark master, and in return, they had been granted immortality and the power to control the town. John knew that he had to put an end to the curse, and he prepared himself for a final confrontation with the town's cursed inhabitants. Armed with his knowledge of the occult, he entered the town square, where the witches and their demon master were waiting for him. A fierce battle ensued, with John unleashing his most powerful spells and incantations. The witches fought back with all their dark powers, but in the end, John emerged victorious. He banished the demon back to the underworld and broke the curse that had plagued the town for so long. As the sun began to rise over Lurk, John stood in the town square, victorious but exhausted. He knew that he had saved countless lives by ending the curse of Lurk, and he felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. However, he also knew that there were many other cursed towns and cities out there, waiting for someone to uncover their dark secrets and put an end to their curse. And so, he set out on a new journey, ready to face whatever supernatural horrors lay ahead. With the curse of Lurk lifted, the town began to transform. The sun shone brighter, and the air smelled fresher than ever before. The people of nearby towns could feel the darkness lifting, and some even began to venture into Lurk once more, hoping to start anew. John stayed in Lurk for a few more days, making sure that the curse was truly gone. He explored the town further, now free of the shadowy figures that had pursued him before. He even spoke to a few of the townspeople, who were amazed to see that the curse had been lifted. They thanked him for his bravery and offered to help him in any way they could. However, John knew that he had to move on. He had uncovered the secrets of Lurk, but there were still many other cursed towns out there, waiting to be discovered. He packed up his belongings and set out on a new journey, ready to face whatever supernatural horrors lay ahead. As he traveled from town to town, John encountered many other cursed places. He fought against dark witches, battled powerful demons, and even faced off against haunted objects that seemed to have a life of their own. But with each victory, John felt a sense of satisfaction, knowing that he was helping to make the world a little safer. Eventually, John became known as a hero in the supernatural world. His name was whispered among witches and warlocks, and many sought him out for his expertise. He traveled the world, fighting against evil wherever he went. But despite all of his victories, John never forgot about Lurk. He knew that the town would always hold a special place in his heart, for it was there that he had first learned the true horrors of the supernatural. And so, he returned to Lurk from time to time, to visit the townspeople and make sure that the curse had not returned. Years passed, and John grew older. He eventually settled down in a small town, where he lived out the rest of his days. But he never forgot about the cursed towns he had encountered, and he always kept his eyes open for new horrors that might emerge. In the end, John passed away peacefully, knowing that he had made a difference in the world. And although he was gone, his legacy lived on, inspiring others to fight against the darkness and keep the world safe from the supernatural. Years after John's passing, a new generation of paranormal investigators emerged. Inspired by his legacy, they heard tales of Lurk, of the curse that had once plagued the town, and of the brave investigator who had banished the darkness. As they journeyed to Lurk, they found that the town had once again fallen into darkness. The streets were empty, and the air was thick with the stench of decay. The shadows seemed to stretch out endlessly, and the wind whispered strange incantations in their ears. The new investigators soon discovered that the curse had indeed returned to Lurk. The dark witches had returned, more powerful than ever before, and they had vowed to avenge their defeat. They had gathered a new army of cursed souls and were ready to unleash their dark powers upon the world. The investigators knew that they were facing an almost insurmountable challenge, but they refused to back down. They knew that they were the last hope for Lurk, and for the world. They began their investigation, following the trail of dark energy that seemed to lead them deeper and deeper into the heart of the town. They encountered twisted creatures that seemed to be half human, half demon, and battled against the witch's powerful spells. But they were not alone. The spirits of the townspeople who had fought alongside John all those years ago appeared to aid them, lending them their strength and knowledge. And so, with the help of the townspeople and the memory of John's bravery, the investigators fought against the darkness. They battled for days and nights, their energy waning, but their spirits unbroken. In the end, the new investigators emerged victorious, banishing the witches and their army of cursed souls from Lurk forever. The curse was lifted, and the town returned to its former glory. The investigators knew that their victory was only temporary, for there would always be new horrors lurking in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. But they were ready, inspired by the memory of John and the knowledge that they were fighting for a greater good. And so, they set out once more, ready to face whatever supernatural horrors lay ahead, knowing that they would never forget the lessons they had learned in Lurk, and the bravery of those who had come before them.